So you're laid out on the floor. Is this your friend Shirley? Was she laid out on the floor?
She was
too?
laid out on the floor. And she.
Where were you, Dad? Were you looking for the guy who ran out?
I think going out looking for him.
And what happened, Shirley, when she got up to her feet, she said, "Vivian, I'm healed from." She was in a bad car wreck, and before she was married, and almost went into the Allegheny River. It was in the wintertime. Anyhow, she had this place that when she'd bend over, like to make the bed, the thing would come out of place, and she couldn't stand back up until it back in. Well, she went back to her seat. Her husband, Skip, had got him back to the seat, and she said to him, she said, "God healed me of my back," and he said, "Oh, yeah, I know," and he was just making. And she said, "You just wait, Jack. We get home, I'm taking you in the bedroom and I'll show you. You know what that looked like when it was out of place. And you knew how I suffered." And she said, "I'm totally healed. I didn't even ask for it." She said, "I just went up for prayer for salvation and God healed me." And I knew when this bucket of faith and love was being poured down through me, it was like time after time after time that was going on when I was laying on the floor. And when I got up and I went back to Skip, I said, "Skip, I have never known a well day in my whole life." I said, "I thought it was normal to live with fear in my gut all the time." And I said, "Today, I have God's love and His peace and faith that I never had in my body, in my physical body."
Yeah. In your being.
In my being, I had never experienced. And after I came home, and it was even months afterwards, I asked, God kept telling me, He said, "You still have some fear." And I was praying one day here, after we moved here, and I said, "God, what?" He said, "When you go home, ask your mother what happened when she carried you." And so I did.
You're getting ahead of the story.
Well, anyhow, she told me that
so that fear came anyways.
It came into me in the womb.
Yeah.
In the womb, and I had it all my life. I didn't know it was abnormal until that day.
And we'll talk about that. But so this person gives Shirley, your friend, gives her life to Christ
And got her healing.
and got her healing. So then you had said that you were kind of going intermittently to Kathryn.
Yeah.
And then at that point, did you guys start
And
going more regular?
When we went home from church from Youngstown that day, she called her mother and said,
We come and got the kids. Kids with mothers.
Told her, "Mom, you won't need to come do the wars tomorrow. God healed me. I'll be doing it." And her mother didn't believe her. She came the next morning and Vivian had the clothesline filled with diapers.
Or whatever. No, I just knew I was well. And I said to Mother, I never knew it a well day. I didn't. Here I was, 25. No wonder I wanted to die.
So tell me that story about when did that fear come into you? Your mother was pregnant with you, and her sister, something happened to her sister.
Her mother was 5 months pregnant when her sister, who was 2 years younger than her, was also having her second baby. They lived in the mining town, and the houses was close. Well, Grandma Somerville, my mother's mother, always went to be with the doctor whenever they came to the house.
A midwife?
When they come to the house, and Grandma was sick with the cold and flu type symptoms, and she said, "Naoma, you go over to be with Ida Mae with the doctor, and takes care of Ida Mae. And cause the baby, I don't want the baby to get what I have or Ida Mae. And so she sent Mother. Well, Mother had never, ever done that before. Had no clue what to look for. But anyhow, Ida Mae had the baby, and the doctor was just freshly out of medical school. He didn't have much practice on that stuff at all. And Mother did what she knew to do, evidently to help the doctor. And he was, like I said, he was new at it also. And they didn't get all the afterbirth. And Grandma didn't tell Mother, make sure you lay that afterbirth all out, and you get all the, if there's any pieces, if it's not whole,
Right.
you have to make sure that she gets cleaned out.
Right.
Because if they don't, poison sets in, they can die of it.
Okay.
And so, but Grandma didn't tell Mother anything. Mother said I was 21. She said I was totally ignorant.
So she's 5 months pregnant. She's there delivering her sister's baby.
And then her sister died probably a week or so later.
Because
they didn't get all the afterbirth out, and gangrene set in and killed her. And she bled to death.
And so now she's afraid of
Her
pregnancy.
And what's
She's
gonna-
afraid of dying,
Something's
giving
gonna-
birth to you. Something's going to happen.
Mhm.
Because she just went through this grieving process
It
of
was
her
awful.
sister dying, and also feeling guilty,
Yeah.
probably
But she
for
was-
not.
She said I was ignorant, Vivian. I knew nothing. So when I went up home and I said, Mother, I want to know what happened. She said, I've told you what happened, but I said, I don't remember. But God told me when I was praying the week or so before, He said, when you go up home, you ask your mother, because this is where your problem started. And she told me.
And that's true. I've taken classes on childhood trauma,
Yeah.
and it starts in the womb.
It's
To the fact that there's a verified story. I'll say story, but it's verified in the counseling training that we get with adverse childhood experiences, that children in the womb. So there was this woman who was abused, and her abuser would burn her with an iron and leave, have the point of the iron and she became pregnant, and when she gave birth, the child had a birthmark the same as a burn of an iron, but it was a birthmark. So that's medically and proven that the trauma, the grief of a mother can be transferred to a baby. So you're carrying around all this fear, 25, 26 years, almost on the verge of a nervous breakdown. You go to a Kathryn Kuhlman meeting for your friend to become born again, and God delivers you.
That morning when He said, trust me, and I had no clue. I didn't ask for healing or anything that day. I didn't ask a thing because I was concerned. My whole heart was concerned for them because they were going to get a divorce. And that's I never thought.